There's this video of a very smart 2-year-old Devon solving maths on Instagram, and I'm going to play it for you. Please pay attention to his enthusiasm. Good job! Yay! Gonna share some of the comments. How did you make this possible? We noticed his fascination with numbers when he was around 4 months old. He showed a clear preference for shows featuring numbers, crying when we switch channels away from them and stopping when we switch it back. Also, his first spoken word was 7. After noticing these cues, we intentionally exposed him more to numbers and mathematics, and he enthusiastically embraced and excelled in this area. You can read the next comment if you want. For him to be doing multiplication and vertical sum at 2, it means you started teaching him at least when he was 1 year old. How did you do that? We started by playing classical music through belly headphones every night. This is said to help with brain development, so he went ahead to write what he wrote to the other person. You can pause to read the rest of Devon's parents' response, but to me it was more of intentional parenting. I found this song particularly interesting. First of all, his voice when sounding the words is so adorable. I want to chew on his cheeks, and it took him less than 2 minutes to solve this math. Me, that was still calculating it in my head. This boy has solved all the maths. God oh, God oh, God oh. This is a Nigerian comment, and I'll get back to this later. This particular dad, Vinicius, explained that his own son, was also obsessed with letters, blah, 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 and then said he suspects autism, hyperlexia, and then this particular parent explained his own son's experience and said the son had hyperlexia, but now he's realized that hyperlexia goes hand in hand with autism, blah, blah, blah. This comment under Vinicius's comment is very interesting. It is because either the poster is deleting those comments or people are afraid to say it. Autism isn't necessarily a bad thing, but being in education for over 25 years, a child at age doing that level of maths is on the spectrum. And then people went ahead to explain, hey, slow down. And there's a very interesting response to that comment I want to share as well. So this commenter took time to say, hey, just because you've been in education for 25 years doesn't mean you understand neurology. You're in education, you're not a neurologist or something, so don't diagnose a child wrongly. And you can pause to read the comment, it's very interesting. Here's the rest of the comment if you're interested. So there's this particular place that says, this is a fact pattern, not an opinion. You can pause to read the second section, but the section says, whenever white teachers don't understand African American children, they label them. This is a fact pattern, not an opinion. Consciously or unconsciously, your perspective has the undertone of bias and stereotype, and I agree, and here's why. Here's why. You can pause to read this. Let me read the last paragraph. Let no one fool you. We are all geniuses in one way or another. To stand out, we need to nurture those skills with a commitment, focus, and determination above everyone else. That's how you stand out in this world. So as we can clearly see, while some people are trying to label people who have intentionally put in the work something, others are saying, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh. See, put in the work for yourself, for your children. You will turn out exactly as what you've put into yourself. I mean, there are cases of autism, but as somebody who has taught kids who are diagnosed to be at the spectrum and those who are not, and then adults to play the piano, what I can tell you is interest determines performance. And the only way people could be interested in anything is if they've been introduced to that thing, at least for a while. Music has a lot of benefits. There are a lot of benefits for playing music or listening to music. And intentional parenting has proven that Devon is the way he is because his parents were intentional with his brain formation. Instead of saying, God, I beg, God, me, God, give me a smart child, be intentional with your parenting. That's what I will say. I would highly recommend the docu-series Babies on Netflix to everyone who wants to become a parent or even for educators. It will show you how babies are formed. There's some neuroscientific research and other studies done just to understand how babies interpret the world. Take your time to watch that. Everything is not a coincidence. Life is actually very intentional. It is what you put in, you get out of it. Let's begin to learn that. My dad played musical instruments. My dad had a music band. My mom was always around music. Why do you think I play the piano? It's not because it's a gift from God. It's because I was introduced to music even from the womb. My sisters also sing. If you want to prove this thing about math, I wasn't playing music in my secondary school. I only started playing music intentionally from my SS3. And by then I already hated further maths. I was scared of further maths, literally. But by the time I started playing music in choir, played the piano from 97, 98, by the time I got to the university, I was teaching my peers calculus. I had an A in calculus. Somebody who was afraid of further maths. So yes, music enhances the brain. I can tell you that for sure. I know because I've seen it in my life. So be intentional with your parenting and be intentional with your life. Everything is not God, I beg, God, I beg, God, I beg. And stop labeling people. Man, if someone has not been diagnosed with something, if people are geniuses, let them be geniuses. After all, everybody's a genius. We just put in the work. That's all. So you put in the work as well.